Everybody, Mega Ruler 31 back here for FSi DFS. We've got a nice little 8 game slate here for Wednesday night. There is an early slate for you, and I will drop some notes on that below. But just looking at it quickly, you're probably going to take like Cisse and Lodolo as your pitchers. Javier works also. Probably going to want to stack Houston. They've got 5 total. Probably with Cincinnati because they probably have the value bats to make it all work together. Um, sorry, some of the White Sox might work also in there, but they're kind of erratic. Probably like the more of a GPP. And if you can get Mike Trout in your lineup, he has just been on another planet recently, just hitting home run after home run, game after game. If he did not get injured this year, he and Aaron Judge, it might be like the whole McGuire Sosa thing we saw like a couple decades ago, like chasing the record together, or at least a super high total. So, but anyways, let's get into the night slate here. Pitching's really like sketchy here. I think I'm going to live in the mid range on this, but break down the games quickly and it'll get you your lineups on your way for your day. So first off, we have Baltimore and the Nationals. It looks like Tyler Wells is going to open, probably going to go a couple innings, so not interested in him. But Voth in relief here isn't bad. He probably could go like 4 or 5 innings against the Nationals and pay off his price tag at 5.6. So I'm perfectly fine playing him if you want to pay down there if you need to, if you're going a little bit different than the mid-range pitchers I'll be hammering. Corbin, he had those 2 really good games, came back to earth last game against Philly, I believe it was. So I don't know. He's dicey. Baltimore's pretty good here. So Baltimore bat, I definitely like him as my favorite GPP, especially like the right-handed bats here against Corbin. So McKenna leading off at like 2K is an awesome value price there. Santander, Mountcastle. We might not see Rushman in here because he usually hits righties better, but you don't know. Definitely some right-handed bats that you could throw at everybody here. And the Nationals, I'm not really interested in here. There's really just not much power stuff. Lane Thomas leading off. He's got like a 10-game hitting streak, and he's super cheap in the outfield, so I might consider him maybe in GPPs as a one-off. Next up, we have Tampa Bay and Toronto Blue Jays, Rasmussen and Stripling. Rasmussen's been better recently, but 9.6 is a tough ask for him. So if you're paying up, he's like my least favorite guy there today. And then Stripling on the other side, kind of a reverse splits guy, but he's not really been that bad. Tampa Bay, just Franco's back, but they lost Lau again. Just, I don't know. He should be good enough against them here, but he's in the mid range. He's my least favorite guy, so he'd be 4th there in the mid range at 8K. Tampa Bay Bats not really interested at all against Stripling. Toronto, it's just a stack. They're just so expensive, and Rasmussen's been decent against righties, and they don't have too many lefties. So pretty much leaving this game alone. Besides playing some Stripling probably as a pitcher in GPPs. Yankees and Red Sox. This game usually yields a lot of runs, 10-mile-per-hour winds blowing out here. So definitely a good hitting environment. Cortez is okay, but again, I don't know if I want to pay up for him 10K against the Red Sox lineup with the wind blowing out, who is underperforming, but can definitely put up runs every so often. Bello on the other side has gotten better since he first came up, but against this Yankee Red Sox or the Yankees lineup with the winds blowing out, not interested in them there. Like the Yankees, top stack on the slate for me here. Aaron Judge had 2 more home runs, keeps on hitting well. Stanton's free on FanDuel pretty much. I think it's 2,800. Torres, Donaldson, Cabrera. I wouldn't drop below that and play the bottom of this lineup. Maybe Trevino if you need a catcher, but maybe Marlon Gonzalez, if something weird happens, they have him like leading off or something. But I think I just stay to the top 4 or 5 of here. And Boston, I think definitely makes a good GPP stack, throwing some of the righties against Cortez. And I could always like Devers hits lefty as well also. So that's in play here. Cubs and Mets, winds blowing out here, 10 miles per hour. City Field kind of neutral. Lies to that. Sorry, it's early in the morning here. I'm losing my voice. But Drew Smiley not interested against the Mets here. They're such a tough matchup. Peterson, I really like him against the Cubs here. They have pretty high strikeout, and even though they got some righty power bats and from Reyes and Suzuki, I think he'll be perfectly fine. He's been good recently. So Peterson, I think, is my favorite pitcher on the slate. I think I'm going to use him the SP1. Smiley, like I said, if you need a cheap pitcher, but again, the matchup's just really bad. Um, Cubs, I think it would just be a leverage stack against Peterson. I think he has a lot of ownership. And I like the Mets as my second favorite stack, especially the righties here. So Kana might move up to the second spot. Lindor, Alonso, Ruff is reasonably priced at 3K. Make a nice lineup there. Nito at catcher if you need a cheap catcher. Next up, you have Kansas City and the Milwaukee Twins, Minnesota Twins. I told you it's early in the morning. It's like 5:30 right now, so waking up. So Kansas City and Minnesota Twins. Greinke doesn't really get blown up, but no, this is like a 13% strikeout rate, so never really interested in him. He's a fade. Sonny Gray hasn't gone super deep in the games, but I think he can go far enough here against this Kansas City team to make value. So I think I'm going to be pairing Peterson and Gray in cash and then paying up for bats with the money I'm saving there. So Kansas City, this is going to be a leverage stack against Gray because I do think he'll have some ownership. In Minnesota, I think it would be my third favorite stack here. Greinke can be kind of a reverse splits guy, so I'm okay with lefties or righties. Again, he doesn't get blown up, but he could give up some runs, and the Kansas City bullpen's not good at all behind him. So even if Greinke does go out there and manage the game well, I think Minnesota can put up runs later on in the game. Milwaukee and St. Louis, you have Corbin Burns, Wainwright. Burns could probably be the top pitcher on the slate, but again, St. Louis can be a very pesky team. I know the wind's blowing in here. It's like 5 miles per hour, still is 80 degrees. So I don't know. If you want to play Burns, then fine with that. He's a really good pitcher, and he'll probably go out there and have like a complete game shutout or something. But again, it's just paying up for pitchers. I just can't do it. I'd rather have some bats on the slate. So Burns is in play definitely in cash, but I'm not playing him probably. Wainwright on the other side, it's a tough matchup against Milwaukee here. I think you can do it if you want to at 9-1, but again, I'd like the mid range better. Bat wise, they're just leverage plays here in case one of these pitchers has an off night. That's I'm just stack them in a GPP as a leverage and just move on. I wouldn't take any one offs or anything. Oakland and Texas, so we have JP Sears and Jane Dunning. Sears really has no strikeout ability, walks a lot of guys, not a really good pitcher. So not going to play him. Dane Dunning, I think I like. I know he's had some struggles this year, and Oakland can put up runs at times, but I think, and GPP is definitely going to be serviceable here at 7K. Maybe an SP2 in cash if you don't think Gray is going to go deep enough in the game to pay off his price tag, but I think he'll be fine anyways. Oakland bats are just cheap fill-ins here. Texas, I think, makes a decent GPP stack, especially like some of the guys down lower in this lineup. So if you want some like cheap bats to throw in, like Young, Matthias, and Bubba Thomas, have all been our young guys that have been like some of like Young and Thomas, I think, just got called up for the September call-ups, but they have been like hitting like really, really well. And they're like 2.2, 2.6, and 2.4K. So there's 3 guys that you can put in your lineup and get in some bats. And if you're trying to play from Burns, I think that's the pathway to get like a stack of like the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, and be able to do that. So Dodgers, Michael Grove, not interested in him against Arizona. Probably won't go deep enough to the game. Probably only get like maybe 10, 12 DK points. Zach Davies, I like him as a pitcher, but I don't really like him up against this Dodger team here. So I think Dodgers should make a really good stack on the slate also. So Dodgers, definitely you can pay up for them. They're kind of expensive, but throw those Texas guys in and the cheaper pitchers in the mid range that works for you. And then if you look at Arizona, I think they definitely are probably my favorite cheap GPP stack against this young pitcher. But the Dodgers guy have a really good bullpen behind him, so I don't know how far that's going to go. So looking at the builds here, Graham Peterson, like I said, give me Minnesota and the Yankees. So figure out who you want for catcher there. Probably gonna punt. Miranda, Torres at second base, Donaldson at third base. Shortstop, Correa, or if there's somebody from the Yankees that fits in there, Judge, Stanton. I might take the guy that hits on for the Yankees if he's in there. That's an outfielder that's rather cheap that came up and was doing well. He's cooled off a little bit too, Oswald Cabrera. So, or like, Texas bats are talked about. There's great fill-ins for those spots that are cheap. FanDuel Peterson's going to be my SP1 here. I'm going to take a Mets and a Yankees stack. Alonso, Lindor, Torres at second base, Judge, like I said, Stanton's cheap. Donaldson at third, or take a Met there, one off if you want to, then fill in with like Hana or Nemo, and then whoever else fits in there to finish off your build. And then finally for GPPs, Dunning and Strip. It's not a video without me having a spelling error. Just try to get these things out to you so fast so we can get it published. And Stripling. Okay, there we go. You can take the Dodger catcher here, whoever it is, if it's Barnes or let's see who they have listed. It looks like it's going to be Will Smith. But if he DHs and Barnes is in, I'm fine with that also. Freeman, Matthias from Texas, like I said, you can put Mookie Betts at second base. He's second base eligible now if you want to take like a couple outfielders that are cheap there. Third base, Muncie's actually been hitting pretty well recently, so you can put him there, or Jung from Texas, Turner, shortstop, Betts in outfield if you don't know second base. Like I said, Thomas from Washington has had a 10-game hitting streak. So I think, he's somebody you can throw in there. He's obviously seeing the ball well, and then finish off another Dodger or like Bubba Thomas or something like cheap outfielder there. And then finally, GPP for FanDuel, Gray, Freeman, Muncie, Turner, Betts are who I'm taking for my Dodgers, and then I'm filling with Minnesota. So Reza, or if you want to take one off there, Kepler, Gordon, outfield, Miranda, and utility, however you want to play that out. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Like I said, look back for early slate. I'll give you a little bit more detail there later on this morning before that slate locks. If you want to play that one, you can hit me up on Twitter, MegaRower31. For more information on FSi DFS, you can check out the description video. All our information is there. Got a busy weekend coming up. We got college football. We got, I know they just dropped a video for PGA swing season. We're still covering that if you're still playing PGA. NFL football coming up. We'll have Thursday night information, and we cover, like, obviously the weekend slate. NASCAR's coming up. We got 3 races. TK and I should be breaking down. See how many videos we can get in depending on when qualifying is. But there's race Thursday night, there's race Friday, and Saturday. So fun weekend. September, great month here. Hopefully you're enjoying some cooler fall weather and everything that goes along with it. So I'm MegaRuler31. You know how to get a hold of me. Good luck in your contest today, and I will see you next time.